So a lot of it has to do with your ability to maintain your posture, because the whole time his whole goal is breaking my posture, creating opportunities to submit me and sweep me, taking my weight off my base, making me post because of my posture. So keeping your posture is everything. Keeping your head above your hips is really important. A lot of the work happens where you can't see it. So it happens with where the way your feet are placed on the mat. Everyone has preferences. I think like this. A lot of times I get swept easy. My feet could get injured. I like to be on my toes where I'm mobile. My base needs to be nice and wide. But here's the details that you can't really see. I'm always kind of pinching my knees together against his butt cheeks, and I flex my pelvic forward, right? So that's that little detail. By doing that, engaging my pelvic, really straightens my posture and keep my head over my, if I keep my head over my hips. And here's what it looks like, right? This looks the same if he pulls his legs to his chest, right? I'm not kind of staging it here. When I engage my legs in and push my pelvic forward, that's all I did, just kind of push forward. That's the difference. Can't see it, but it's instrumental. So the whole time I'm in guard, I'm focused on that. I'm keeping my head up. I'm not looking down. There's nothing to really see down here. Before long, you'll learn where everything's at. Your head wants to be up, right? Knees are pinching, pelvic's pushing forward, and I'm on my toes, and that's what I'm looking for. I like to catch the gi just like this, right? Finger down the middle, establish this grip, and then my hand goes on his pants, and my elbows go inside tight like this. Why do I grab the gi here and not just one collar? It's because he can pull my arm offline, right here, right across, or you can just pulls off to the side. When I have two lapels, it makes it sturdy. If you ever watch, me grapple live, one of the things I do is when I run down, this collar, I come here, I grab, and then I twist real quick, right? Because a lot of guys like to break this by splitting their lapel, and if I have that little twist in there, it's really hard to split the lapel. In other words, if I grab like this and he splits, two hands on the lapel, he opens it up. If I do this, right here. So that's kind of thing that I like to do. From here, right, my knees are together, my hips are engaged, and I'm gonna start putting pressure immediately by putting his hips down, because you probably want to climb up onto my legs right here, take the pressure off. So immediately here, and then here's another really kind of important detail that I like to do, is I like to put pressure on his legs to make him want me to break. So if I start trying to push here, and his legs are kind of loose right here, so I start making a little circle like this, right, and pulling. So what I'm doing, if you can imagine like a cable, if that cable was kind of loose and I whacked it with an axe to try to break it, it would kind of flop, right? But if I took that cable and stretch it really, really tight and then whack it, it would snap. And so that's what I'm doing with his legs. I'm getting this really tight, putting pressure here. So the more I'm moving like this, right, when I'm gonna put pressure on his feet, it's gonna snap.
It's uncomfortable already.
It's already uncomfortable. Just from that movement right here, right? And so now I have this pressure. My knee goes in his butt. I open this, just like this. I don't use my elbow and grind down. You can if you want, but it's not going to be as effective for guys that are tough in jiu-jitsu. Look, I'm going to push pressure down, and I'm going to arch my back kind of like a cat. Right here, and it breaks. Right when that opens up, I switch to one collar, and I pull this arm back in, and my knee comes in between. There, like this. The reason I do this, probably one of the things I hate seeing, the most pet peeve of mine, is guys do all this work to break the guard, and they get sucked right back into it, and have to start all over. If I'm going to do all this work to break the guard, I want to have a nice wide base that you can't re-engage with. So we'll get to here and stop. So again, I said a lot of things, so I'll cover them. So again, good base, nice wide platform, toes are on the mat. I'm not looking down, I'm keeping my head over my hips. My knees are squeezing together, my pelvic's pushed forward, right, and that engages my spine. It makes it harder for him to break me down. Here, elbows in, right, because for him to break me down, he has to open my elbows. Elbows in, move, get that pressure, pushing his hips down, right, knee in the butt, open, pressure. Go to one collar, pull this in, but you don't leave it out behind, leave it out here where you get armbar or triangle. Pull it in tight, knee comes up here. And we're gonna move on once we get here. This is the most important part about the break the guard.
Sir.
So, anybody need to see it again?
Sure.
Yeah, one more time. buried, I don't let him lift my elbow up. Right? If he's experienced, he's gonna be pulling an elbow. I just keep it buried. Right? It's not a strength thing if it's deep in there. Right? It doesn't matter if he's stronger than me. So once I get this grip and I see him crunch up, I'm gonna shift my weight over the shoulder. Right here. I don't pass yet. It's really tempting to pass. I come underneath and I grab his pant. Now, I always take these two fingers, not for this move, but it works out really good. My two fingers, I look for that spot in his gi, right? Like, there's usually like a little V. You like get the only pants that don't have them. So usually there's like a little V on the side, right here, and my fingers fit perfect in there. If not, he doesn't have. He's like again the only pants that doesn't have them. I go in the top. So you know, in jiu-jitsu, there's a lot of rules, right? I can't stick my fingers in the bottom of his pants. I can't stick my fingers in his sleeves, but you can stick them in here, and you can stick your fingers in there. So that's legal, right? So, boom, tight. Right? I'm gonna grab the top of his pants because he didn't have that hole that I like to stick my fingers in, right? And I'm gonna pull this really tight. Look, tight here. My elbows are close to my hips. It's very important. And now what I just did, one, I got my grip I'm gonna do my submission with later. But what I just did was I killed both of his primary escapes from side control. Right here, I'm still in his guard, but you ever say black belts are like a few moves ahead? Well, that's what I'm here. I'm a few moves ahead. Because I know when I pass, he's gonna either try to turn away and roll to his knees, like that way, or he's gonna hip escape and face me. I already know this, right, in advance. So these two grips negate those two escapes. So I stack over his shoulder, I pull these grips close to me, I continue to pass. Slide down, make him want me to pass. Look, pull him to me tight. Look at my knees where they are. One knee is in his hip. This knee's a counterweight, like the back weight on a forklift, so you can't tip me over. I'm pulling these grips tight to my hips. My elbows are still going to my hips, right? And my toes are in the mat, so I can put pressure. My feet aren't lazy here, right? I can't put any pressure there. Here, I'm pushing. So if he tries to roll away from me, look, this grip stops that. He tries to hip escape, no way. No way he's hip escaping here, right? It doesn't matter if he's 100 pounds heavier than me. If I did this right, had this good grip, he's not gonna hip escape here. And I want to be able to hold this, for jiu-jitsu, 3 seconds to get position for self-defense or for fighting. I don't want to hold this till he stops going crazy because I passed, right? So I have good controls here. So again, this is where we stopped last time. I'm either gonna come under his hamstring and lift. More likely, if he's experienced, he's gonna be heavy there. So go back to his ankle and lift up. Comfortably close. Pull. This is a stronger grip, but we're gonna go thumb in. Pull here. Grab those pants. Right. Stack, stack, stack. Toes on the floor, knee in his hip. Elbows are going to my hips. It's very important. Right here, in control. Close. This grip, if you're just looking to pass, and you're not gonna do the paper cutter, then go with this grip, palm up, because it's gonna be a lot better pass. But because we're doing the paper cutter, we're going thumb in, and we don't wanna be down here. We wanna be up, about by his collarbone, right? I can reach as far as I want with this arm, right? This one on the inside, I can't. I'm gonna get arm barred or choked, right? But this arm on the outside, I can reach all the way up here. I'm safe, right? So I just wanna make sure my elbow stays down, but that's not for submission, that's for him being able to defend, right? So I'm going all the way up by his collarbone, and then I'm pulling everything close, that elbow anchors down. Again, not about submission, more about control. Elbow in here, coming in here, I'm getting that V, pulling everything tight, and then I'm passing. I don't want to attack it right away. I want him to stop moving, and if I'm doing IBJJF or Jiu-Jitsu tournament, I want my points. Right? So 3 seconds, I get my 3 points, I passed, and now I can submit. So I'm going to choke him with this arm across his neck, but before I do, I'm going to clear the neck because I don't want him to know I'm going to choke him. So I kind of open this up, I post my hand on the floor, right? I let go of this grip. I post my hand on the floor as a block 8. If I move too fast, he might be able to re-guard. So this hand goes here, this blocks the guard. With my knees here, my toes on the floor. So I have 2 things now that are blocking the guard. My knee, and now this hand. And I come to north-south. like this. Look where his arm went. I'm gonna come under his armpit. All right, so the more I come over his face, the more likely his arm's gonna be to follow. I could pull it up with my elbow. What I'm looking for is my 4 fingers to go into the back of his lapel, right? So just like this. Just grab the back of his lapel, right here. As soon as I get that grip, my knee collapses and his arm's trapped, right? So he can't get that arm back. And I don't ever let him get it back. He's got to tap with something else, right? Because I'm keeping this arm. Right? I get my knee up as high as I can, and I'm gonna pivot, and I'm gonna bring this arm across his chest. Watch. Right here, right? I just pivot off this knee. I'm not chronically white, I have no rhythm at all, right? But, you know, if I can do this, everybody can. Like this, like this. So when I do this, a lot of you, for the choke, are gonna be over him, jammed. I know I always am. So I'm gonna wanna take one more step back. Right? So my body's gonna go naturally here, and I'm gonna take another step back. Because I wanna go from this angle to this one. If you feel like you landed here already, great. For now, just try to do an extra step back and really turn this angle. The reason why is because most people be jammed. I start choking him here. He can grab my collar just like this, and we're in a fight, right? And I don't want to be in a fight. I want to choke him, right? I don't want him to have any kind of a chance or advantage to create space. But if I step one step further back, I'm not on top of him anymore, right? I hide my head in my elbow pit, just like this. Right? So my head goes here, my elbow goes out. Right? I'm not strangling him across his neck. I'm going to draw a circle with my elbow around his head, right? Just like this, right there. Right? So most people will get this choke and try to strangle the guy this way. And if the guy's got any bit of fighting or heart in him, it's gonna be like drowning a silverback gorilla, right? He's gonna go crazy, right? He's gonna start fighting and wanting to get away. I don't want that. I wanna do it nice and smooth. He feels like he can escape, but it chokes him out. So what I'm doing is between his collarbone and his earlobe is his carotid artery. I'm putting that wrist bone there and I'm wringing it out. And I'm just kind of running my elbow up to his ear, and it's gonna put a lot of pressure on his carotid artery, and he's gonna feel the choke and have the desire to tap really fast with this. So a couple of things. One is I don't want my head ever to get on top of him, right? So that's why this foot goes back. 2 is he's gonna try to turn towards me like this. So this bottom arm needs to be lifting up the whole time, right? So as he tries to turn towards me, this bottom arm's not static, it's lifting. So as he tries to hip escape and turn, right? Here. 3 is he's gonna spin, right? The other way, walk towards me, right? So as I'm lifting, I want this foot to be mobile. Right, keep spinning. Right, good?
Yeah.
Okay, keep spinning. Right, so he can't outspin me on top of him doing that. Right, so the more I'm off of him, the more likely I am him to be able to push me off. And the more I'm lifting up this arm, it's gonna negate his hip escape. Everyone that gets caught in this choke, whether they know how to or not, they're gonna wanna turn and take that weight away. Right, so if I'm ahead of him with it, by lifting this up, man, he's behind. He's not gonna catch up. So the choke's not just locking this in and choking. The choke's like I'm tearing, pulling that bottom arm. Right, so it's a lot of things happening. This is a lot of, I probably have like 10 more little details I can show with this, but I don't want to get too much at one time. But for me, this is really high percentage choke. I get it a lot. If you don't get it, if you miss it, you're in the same position. So he's working his butt off from the bottom to escape and fight with it. And sometimes he escapes it, sometimes he gets out, and I'm right there on top of him still attacking it. Just keep hammering away at him. And the next move we'll show is, if he's too problematic, what to do. I'll address a couple of little things that he might do. You could finish him off from there. So I'm gonna show it to you. And again, if you notice, now I have this is my finishing grip. I don't adjust my grip. Right, I'm in his guard still right now. I didn't even get points yet to pass. But that's the grip I'm gonna finish him with. Right. Let him stop moving. Lock his regard. Open. Get his curls in there and everything. All right. Get the knee up, it's a box, you can't get the arm back. And the knee hits the floor, look. Boom. Right here. Right. Here, if you're jammed up and you're over the top of him, you gotta take that extra step back. Hide your face, right? Because if he knows what he's doing, he's gonna do that and create space. Hide that thing. Elbow down, open up my elbow a little bit. Start lifting, so he's gonna try to turn away, turn towards you. So just scraping that neck. Try to draw a circle around his head with your elbow. All right. Any questions?